For 10 years, Leo lived by the setting sun. His mission was simple, almost poetic, to capture a sunset in every state of America. He was a collector, not of stamps or coins, but of fleeting moments of celestial fire. His van, which he affectionately named the Wanderer, was his home, his studio, and his time machine. It was filled with maps, marked with potential vantage points, stacks of photo albums, and the faint, ever-present scent of road dust and instant coffee. His life was a predictable rhythm of driving, waiting, and clicking the shutter. He chased the light from the fiery oranges over the Grand Canyon in Arizona to the soft, pastel purples over the coast of Maine. He spoke to people, of course, but the conversations were as transient as the light he pursued. They were gas station attendants, park rangers, and fellow travelers, all passing ships in the twilight of his journey. He was known in online photography forums as the Sunset Chaser, a man defined by endings, by the day's final, beautiful sigh. His heart was a landscape bathed in twilight, beautiful but lonely. He'd seen countless sunsets, but he'd never really seen the dawn. Then he got to Oregon. The final state on his list, he'd saved it for last. Drawn by tales of its dramatic coastline and majestic forests, he planned to spend a month there, finding the perfect spot for his grand finale. He found a small coastal town, a place that felt like it was perpetually wrapped in a gentle sea mist. It was there, in a tiny, cluttered bookstore that smelled of old paper and rain, that his journey took an unexpected turn. She was behind the counter, her hair the color of warm honey, her eyes a deep, thoughtful brown. Her name was She wasn't a fleeting conversation. She was a story waiting to be read. He'd gone in looking for a local history book, something to help him find a unique location. Instead, he found her. She asked him about his quest, her head tilted with genuine curiosity. Unlike others who saw it as a novelty, she saw the dedication, the passion. She understood the language of light. Ilara was a sunrise person. She spoke of the quiet hope of dawn, the way the world seems to hold its breath before the first ray of light breaks the horizon. Sunsets are endings, she'd said with a gentle smile. Beautiful, yes, but they're about what's over. Sunrises are about what's just beginning. He found himself captivated, not just by her words, but by the light in her eyes as she spoke. For the first time in a decade, Leo started waking up early, not to pack up his van and chase the next location, but to meet Ilara. She showed him her secret spots, a cliffside where you could watch the sea otters play in the morning light, a quiet cove where the sunrise painted the wet sand in shades of rose and gold. He brought his camera, but more often than not, he forgot to use it. He was too busy watching the way the early light caught in her hair, the way she smiled when the sun finally crested the horizon. He was supposed to be looking for his final sunset. Instead, he was discovering sunrises. He was discovering laughter that echoed over the sound of the waves, conversations that lasted long after the coffee went cold, and the comfortable silence of two people who simply enjoyed being together. He learned that she was a painter, her canvases filled with the vibrant, hopeful colors of dawn. Her life was about beginnings. One morning, they sat on a driftwood log, watching the sky shift from deep indigo to brilliant orange. He realized he hadn't thought about his project in over a week. The grand finale, the culmination of 10 years of work, suddenly seemed less important than the moment he was in. The man who'd spent a decade chasing endings had found a beginning. "You know," he said, his voice quiet, "I've photographed thousands of sunsets. I've seen the sky on fire in every corner of this country." He turned to look at her, the rising sun reflecting in her eyes. "But you're the only sunrise I ever want to see." Ilara didn't say anything at first. She just smiled, a slow, radiant smile that was brighter than the dawn itself. She leaned her head on his shoulder as the sun climbed higher, flooding the world with light and warmth. The shutter on his camera remained unclicked. Leo did eventually take his final sunset photograph. In Oregon, it was beautiful, a spectacular display of color over the Pacific. He framed it and hung it in the small apartment he rented above the bookstore. It hung on the wall opposite a painting Ilara had made for him, a vibrant, hopeful sunrise. His journey across America was over, but his real adventure was just starting. He sold the van, the Wanderer, to a young couple just beginning their own travels. He kept the photo albums, a testament to the man he used to be. But now, his days were no longer defined by the setting sun. They were defined by the woman he woke up next to, by the shared cups of coffee in the quiet morning, and by the promise held in every single sunrise. For 10 years, he collected sunsets, but in the end, it was a single sunrise that truly captured him. He had traveled thousands of miles to see the end of the day, only to find his forever at the very beginning of it. He was no longer just the sunset chaser. He was a man who had finally found his morning, his light, his new beginning, all in the heart of one small coastal town.